So it's been a few days since we were messing around with the springs. Turns out these aren't gonna work. Car just bottoms out with those ones.
In the meantime, I've got some of the other parts ready to go. The whole radiator support and some of the intercooler piping I've got all welded in, painted and everything. Intercooler pipes are ready to go, so now I got some parts here laid out and we're gonna fit them all together and it'll be done. Well, not quite, but it'll be close. Well, not quite, but this is part of it. That part will be done.
So Joel made up some intercooler piping with some old exhaust tubing. Welded it up and painted it. Turned out pretty good.
Now I just got to find where I put the clamps for my intercooler piping, get those put back on. Got some shorter bolts for this. Got to put those in. This was giving us problems because the grid heater that was on there, this intake elbow right there, it was sitting too high and it was hitting the hood. So we had to take that off, but luckily I could just take the grid heater out because I don't think we're gonna be needing that when we're driving it in the summer and stuff anyways. The Cummins usually start pretty good. But yeah, now I just got little odds and ends, little bolts and stuff that I got to put washers on and make sure everything's tight. And then as far as this, it's getting a lot closer. Just have to do the fuel lines, the wiring, and air intake and like basic things, and pretty soon I'll be able to drive it around and move it. So I'm getting excited. But the major part of the swap is done. So
yeah.
Okay, so last time I had some springs ordered. We tried putting the springs in and it still wasn't quite right. It was riding way too close to the bump stops and it wasn't giving us enough lift and enough strength that we needed. Those springs that I had last time, they were these ones. They're called the Moog 5662. I found out it's not just the spring rate that's important, it's also the length. I should have known, but whatever. I mean, these coil springs are not too expensive. Basically, when it comes to springs, and I didn't realize this last time, I should have, it's pretty obvious. It's not just the spring rate that's important, but it's also the overall length of the spring. So this one here is about 750 pounds per inch, the spring rate. This one is about 215 pounds per inch. So it's quite a lot lighter, this one. But when you compare the length of the two, this one's quite a lot longer than this. This one is 750 and this one's 215. So this spring here, I was doing some more research and I found these. These are 1999 to 2006 Ford Ranger springs from a two-wheel drive, I think. These ones are Moog part number 80660. They have the exact same inner diameter, all the important specs are the same. These ones have a spring rate of about 567 pounds per inch. That's listed on the website. So compared to these first springs that I was trying, these springs are a little bit lighter spring rate, but they're a lot longer. So the way it all balances out, they should work. Yeah, we're ready to give it a try and hopefully it works this time. Okay, so last time, luckily I didn't put everything completely back together, so it's a little bit less work for us this time. I don't have the shocks in there, I don't have the bump stop in there. The ball joint and rod end, they're already loose in, so it's pretty quick. To get the coil springs out on these ones, you can see here there's not much to grab on because it's all tucked in the subframe and in the lower control arm there. So what you're gonna want is an inner diameter spring compressor. Basically grabs it from the inside of the spring. And what I found when I was playing around with it last time, I found out that you can just take the shock out. You can put this whole threaded rod through the top where the spring goes and then just clip the bottom end in and then just crank her down. I feel a little bit safer doing it that way because it's kind of a tight squeeze, and I don't like these spring compressor tools. I've seen videos where they blow apart, and I'm kind of scared of them now. But this way it feels a little bit safer. It's in there pretty good, and I don't think it's gonna fly out and hit me in the forehead, so.
Yeah, some of those other ones, they go off like a grenade.
Oh yeah, terrifying. You always want to wear safety glasses. You never know when just a little fragment of something's gonna fly off, and every single time it flies off, it hits you right in the eye. I'm just sick of it, so I'm only wearing safety glasses now. Nobody's allowed to not wear safety glasses when they're doing something like this in my shop. It's not allowed. My dog gets really pissed at that too. She'll bite you if you're not wearing your safety glasses. I'm not kidding either. Okay, I'm just kidding. I wonder how long it'll be until like the first comment where someone's making fun of my kneeling style. They don't understand, but...
Karate chop the tie rod right out of there.
It's old school. It's the old school way.
Old school karate chop.
Yeah.
That's a sweet tool though.
Oh yeah, I really like this one.
That's way better than having it explode across the shop.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ford Ranger could do that.
Yeah, my Ford Ranger could do that. My Ford Ranger could support the weight of a Cummins in the front of a 79 Camaro.
So Joel's finished putting in the new springs, but we're thinking that it might end up being a little too tall now, but the only way to see is we'll throw on that tire and drop her down, and hopefully she sits where she's supposed to be. What are your thoughts, mechanic?
I think there's only one way to find out.
Time to drop her like a bad habit. Hey, that looks better. Yeah, now we're talking.
I think that's perfect. That's exactly right.
That's way better.
Behind the scenes, I actually cut off about an inch from those coil springs, and I was crunching some numbers last week before I ordered them. I figured we actually needed to cut about an inch off of those. So this is about how much I cut off, about 3/4 of one coil. And that actually made it easier to install, because before, the way the coil ended, it was actually kind of flexing the bottom of the spring outwards. And now when I cut it, it flexed it inwards, so it actually helped install them a little bit. But this is how much I cut off of those Ford Ranger springs. Moog part number 80660.
Ooh, nice drop.
They seem to work pretty good in this car. It sits exactly where I want it to be. You can kind of see the body line on the side here, and it's like, it's pretty much level. Step on the front here and see.
And the lift is all the way down too.
It's a little bit springy, but with the shocks installed, I think it'll be great. You can really bounce on it, and it's not even going to hit the bump stops yet. As far as it's sitting right now, I think these are the solution. I think that's what we're looking for.
All right, so Joel just threw in both of the shocks and we're just lowering it down now. Hey, that's way better. Yeah.
Nice. So we got the shocks in before we had the springs in, and it was holding the weight up fine, but it was just so bouncy, and I wasn't sure if it's going to be too soft, so the shocks stiffen it up a lot. But now when I jump on it, it's
That's solid.
I think it's perfect.
Money.
Yeah, can't wait to test drive it.
Alrighty, I'm out. I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
All right, see you, buddy.